to breaking news this hour in the Boston terror investigation. Michigan Congressman Mike Rogers chairs the House Intelligence Committee. He's a former FBI man, and he joins me now. Mr. Chairman, first of all, we're hearing that from questioning before he was Mirandized significantly, that Dzhokhar Tsarnaev did tell the FBI that they did have a plan, the brothers. First, he said they were going to New York. They thought to party after the explosions in Boston, but he did then acknowledge that they were planning to use whatever was left of their explosives in Times Square. What degree of credibility do you give to this hospital bed confession, if you will?
I'm not sure. I have not heard that. I did hear that in the aftermath that there were at least interest in doing more events. I'm not clear it was New York. It may have actually been in the Boston area, but because of the videos released that ramped up the pressure on them, they went on a crime spree. And it was my understanding, and again, these things are fluid and there's lots of facts flying around, but trying to repeat basically what I've heard from the intelligence community is that in fact they were going to escape to New York. That was part of their plan. So raise some cash and get to New York. Didn't hear the part about that would be where another event was, although they had devices and could have done that once they arrived there. I just didn't hear the confirmation that they in fact said that they were going to do events in New York.
Now, Mr. Chairman, this brings me to your concerns, which you are now raising for the first time here. I understand you've written a letter to the Justice Department about it. Your concerns that Tsarnaev was Mirandized too soon, that the FBI was on the case, was questioning him, it was open-ended, this period of the exception, and that the federal magistrate arrived. Tell me what your concerns are. What have you heard?
Well, I certainly never saw this in my law enforcement career, and I understand for officers who have been in, agents who have been in over 25 years, said they've never seen anything like this, that the court proactively calls up as early as over the weekend and said, hey, we're going to come down and do the arraignment and Mirandize because we see on television that he may be getting what's called the public safety exception to the Mirandizing rule, meaning that when there's a public safety issue, bombs being one of them, weapons of mass destruction as he was charged, we didn't really know if there were more individuals or more bombs. They were trying to determine that. So remember, over the weekend, he's in and out of lucidity. He's on medication. He's talking, but he's not talking. He's unconscious. He's going for procedures. What I know is because of that engagement with our Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice, in my opinion, at least from what I know today, was not very aggressive in trying to stop them from doing this until the FBI said we have all of the information we might need to keep the public safe. That's very, very concerning, and we better get this right in a hurry. This investigation may take other turns, and we need to make sure that the court doesn't believe that they are now in the position to intercede in that public safety administration of an interrogation. That's really dangerous and concerning, especially when the FBI will tell you we weren't quite finished with them. We didn't really believe that we had all that we could get out of them when it came to the public safety provision and the exception to providing Miranda rights.
You're telling me something here. I just want to make sure I nail this down correctly. You're telling me that from your information from the FBI, they were still questioning Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, still felt that they could get more information from him about potential other plots or conspiracies or whatever else that they were trying to pursue, and that instead the court interceded and Mirandized him.
That's correct. Now, I will say that they contacted the Department of Justice and they made some arrangement. We're still trying to get all the details of what that arrangement was so that the court would show up. But again, this wasn't the Department of Justice contacting the judiciary and saying, hey, we've got a guy to come down to arraign. It was the judiciary calling in saying, hey, we're going to come do this. It is, I argue, highly unusual. And there are exceptions. The exception under the New York versus Quarles case is clear in that it's broad and it's on a case-by-case basis. When you're talking about weapons of mass destruction, this is as serious as it gets, and we better err on the side of public safety. But to have the court affirmatively push their way in is, A, I think it's wrong, and B, we should have given the FBI the time that they needed, given the circumstances of someone in the hospital who is consciousness and on and off medication for the DOJ not to push back, the attorney's office. They have a lot of explaining to do, and if it takes a legislative fix, they haven't told us that yet, then we'll do that. But we can't have, in a case like this, the judiciary deciding because it's on TV and it might look bad for them to allow the public safety exemption that is deemed legal by the United States Supreme Court, that they were going to somehow intercede in this is, A, it's confusing, it is horrible, god-awful policy, and dangerous to the greater community, and we have got to get to the bottom of this, and we've got to fix it right now.
Do you have an answer yet from Justice?
I've had preliminary discussions. They have assured me that they'll get the answers and the timeline to me shortly, and I argue that's the right place to go and at the speed this needs to happen.
Let us know, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for breaking that here.
Thank you.